Welcome to CS Week's Success Stories, second Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern webinar series. These webinars are the top-rated workshops from our attendees for Conference 39 held last May in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Lisa Collins with CS Week and your moderator for today, and Denise Mondor is our host. CS Week and Conference 40 will be April 25th through 29th, 2016 at the Phoenix Convention Center in Phoenix, Arizona. This program will be recorded and available for playback along with our other archived presentations. You'll find it under the Educational Venues/Webinars link on our website. Attendees, you are encouraged to upload questions in the Q&A panel on the lower right hand of your screen at any time during the presentation. Be sure to click the All tab to make sure that both the presenter and I see your questions, but we will hold the questions until the end of the presentation before we answer them. Today's program is Improving Customer Service Through Outbound Communications. Our guest speaker is Pamela, Director of Customer Service and Solutions in Customer and Market Operations for Oncor. She oversees a team of 7 Oncor employees and the operation of the outsourced Customer Contact Center with approximately 120 seats in Texas. Pam and her team are also responsible for leading the Customer Experience Council, voice of the customer effort and supporting Oncor's desire to become a trusted advisor to customers. In her 38 years with Oncor, Pam has spent her career in human resources and customer management. She is a 2009 Leadership Texas graduate and served on several customer committees. She also serves on the CS Week Planning Committee. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you. I appreciate it and look forward. Thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to sharing some information today around improving customer service through what we've done with outbound communications. I'll tell you a little bit about Oncor. We are the largest transmission and distribution utility in Texas and the 6th largest in the United States. You've probably heard enough about Oncor and the way that Texas is deregulated a little differently than most of the other states that are deregulated. So while we don't actually bill end-use customers, we do interact with end-use customers daily, particularly related with outage calls, and most of the customers are with service requests and service needs. We have over 3,800 employees working for Oncor. And we have completed our 3.3 million advanced meter deployment. So we are fully complete with that program, which helps us with a lot of efforts related to outage reporting and being able to quickly get to any other issues that are going on with the meters. We'll move through, and everybody has to share a few pictures of their company, so there we are with a lot of what's going on here. From a customer communications, we worked hard with our Customer Experience Council back in 2011 to establish some base functionality and technology that really is our foundation for enhancing customer communication channels and providing information to customers through multiple channels. You know, today's customers are more engaged than ever. The customers want to be communicated in their method, which could be by phone, by email, text, or chat, and through social media. We also put them through the same pains that a lot of you probably do, and that's through the IVR as well. So keeping all of those channels in sync and making sure that the customer is getting consistent messaging with whichever channel they're going to is one of the challenges that we're all facing and continue to strive to do a great job of. Our customers, as you can see on our wheel, can do several things. We have a mobile-friendly website. So if it recognizes when you go to Oncor.com and recognizes you're on a mobile device and presents it in a manner where you can see everything you need. And we also have online outage reporting, so the customers can report their outage, check the map for status updates, etc., and keep up with what's going on related to outages. You can text in your outage, and you can call it in and potentially talk to a live agent, or we do respond to social media as well, because there's a lot of customers in situations letting us know their power's out that way. And what's interesting, we find out they've never actually reported it, but they sure are fussing with us on social media. So we like to be there where the customers are and help them through that process. The various communication channels do help reduce call volume. We have experienced a healthy sign-up of our text program from customers, and we have we're nearing we have 180,000 customers signed up for the text, and a lot of that is driven because when there's storms or there's outages, what do your customers do? When they try to find out how to get hold of you, they go online to Oncor.com and they see they can sign up and report their outage right there. That's why we get most of our outages reported through the automated processes. We get about 19% of our outages through that online tool. And at the end of reporting it online, there's this little box that says, you know, check this for updates by text. And once they put their mobile number and check that box, it'll send them a confirmation text, so they're getting that double approval of sign up. And essentially the customer then can report any future outages, which is simply texting out to Oncor's number, which is 66267. The other thing that we really like about our online outage map and our website are that we have the ability to put some area-specific messaging up during major events. During a major event, when we're not sure how long it's going to be, we will put a banner up quickly to let customers know we are experiencing some heavy storms or damage, and people should plan for extended outages in these areas. And then as we know more and we've done our troubleshooting, we're updating that banner. A lot of times, as probably a lot of you do, have to turn the estimated time of restoration off. Well, these banners and these area-specific message really help customers close that gap through those times when you really can't give them anything specific to them, but you might be able to say something around the area that they're in, that, you know, the crews have been assigned, and that area would be on, or is expected to be on by noon tomorrow or end of day tomorrow. So very generic but crisp messaging that are very area specific. The other thing we have with text that we're really excited about is, well, of course you can register by text if that's what some customers want to do. Again, the majority of our registrations come through the website, but customers do register through the text process, which is just typing reg to that same number, and then it walks them through by identifying that phone number they're texting from if it's on their account, makes it for an easy sign up, or they have to provide their account number with their zip code to get in and get signed up for that text program. They'll receive outage updates as the text as the outage progresses. If the ETOR or the estimated time of restoration changes by more than an hour, then they'll receive an update through that same text channel to let them know that we are now seeing that is going to be not until 4 p.m. versus maybe the 1 o'clock we had told them earlier in the day. The other thing we've taken advantage of with this program is being able to text on certain service order types. And so we have about 5 service order types that we provide customers updates on. They can't create an order, so don't misunderstand that, but what they can do is once a temporary disconnect, let's say, is scheduled on their account at their request, of course, then they'll get a notification that there is a temporary disconnect scheduled for a certain date. When it completes, they will get a message as well to let them know that that work has been completed. So it helps with scheduling electricians, et cetera. The IVR also has gone through several revamps since 2011, and we're trying to get as crisp as we can there. Get those automated outage reports where they can report quickly, particularly if 80% of your calls are really related to just a straight, power outage, full outage, no lines down. That's the first option in the menu. And keeping it crisp so the time to report is easy and quick for them. They get the same information across all of these channels as they're doing that effort. They're going to get that same estimated time of restoration or that same information from a projected time to restore. What they don't get in the IVR is the ability yet to sign up for text or to receive updates. So it is kind of the left behind channel, if you want to call that, but what we're doing is encouraging customers to go the other avenues to get in. We will be adding functionality in the next year or so to where they can sign up for text updates or any kind of other updates through the IVR, but we are not there yet. We also have the ability to do proactive outbound alerts, which is what you're here to hear about today. And so let me go ahead and get to that and talk about what we have been doing in this area. We are doing planned outage notifications. So what we're doing is working with our organization whenever they're identifying a planned outage because of trying to upgrade or do maintenance on facilities and an outage is required. We'd like to get about 3 days advance notice on that, and particularly where there's more than, say, a couple of hundred customers going to be impacted, then that's when we choose to send alerts to those customers using the telephone numbers we have on file and providing them potentially up to 3 messages. A reminder, perhaps it's a message on today's Tuesday, excuse me, so like today, we would be sending out today on Tuesday a notification for something that may be happening Friday or Saturday, giving them that early warning that there will be an outage, what time it's planned for, how long it's expected to last, and that we will be reminding them before the process takes place. Then again, the day before the outage, we will send them a second notice. And then after the outage is completed on that Saturday, then we will send a thank you message and a verification that power is on. So essentially what we're doing there is letting them know that we appreciate your patience and we did complete the maintenance in your area. Your power should be back on. If it's not, then here's how you reply to re-report that outage. So it helps the customer. If they're having issues, we get them back in touch with us quickly and get that taken care of. And it's eliminated the need for some of the door tags and some of the effort of customers being at home on Saturday morning and all of a sudden their power goes out. They call us to report that outage and then find out we were aware and it was planned, which is not a good experience for customers. So we love this part of the program, and we are seeing a real large success rate, as you can see on the chart. We had about a 14% failure rate on this particular campaign we're showing you here. But a lot of success with those customers, letting them know and letting them see what that is as it continued down the path. We have done some of these campaigns where we actually use live agents because of some new TCPA rules, and we'll talk about that a little more when we get to the slide on those changes that you need to be aware of. Those live agent calls went fantastic. It gave us great feedback from the customer that, wow, this is great. I really appreciate you calling. And went very smooth for the agents. There weren't a lot of questions, which is what you get a little worried about when you plan on doing something like that. But there were not a lot of questions from customers, and they were very accepting of when it was going to be done, which is the wonderful news. With the Text Oncor section, I've already talked about that and what we're doing there from that program, so I'll kind of move to energy efficiency curtailment. So in energy efficiency curtailment, these are notices where the, the energy efficiency group has got a lot of people that have signed up for this, and they have a reduced reduction in some rates that they're paying because they will take an event and reduce their load. So twice a year they're required to send communications to these customers, validate that the communication paths are accurate and still updated. And what this has done is really eliminate a lot of the communication failures and a quick identification without resources having to spend time on it to validate that those are good, valid notice emails or phone numbers. It's improved the accuracy of the contact list with those pre-season tests and cleanup, and then it also has worked fantastic to notify them whenever the event starts and if it's canceled or when it ends. And the groups that have signed up for this service absolutely love it. You'll always still have, no matter how well you plan, you will always still have some level of failure. And somebody has just left and you tested in the spring and then or in the fall and then they've just left, and so now you have a few failures. But that's okay, and the good news is that for the most part that helps the customers, and it certainly helps our energy efficiency group. Gives them a much smaller group to confirm they have it and they're taking their action they're supposed to, because they quickly get the results of these outbound campaigns and can act on those that don't have a good number or didn't get their notice. We've done about approximately 8,000 of these in the last 8 months, and it continues to grow, which is the great news. We really do find this as a big value for customers and has improved our satisfaction. The key thing with messaging is you say what you mean. We learned some valuable lessons from our text messaging program after we went live, had a few major events, and what we didn't plan on are those nested outages. You know, when you're sitting in a room planning, you have all the right people around the table, you're mostly thinking blue sky. But we had to stop and find out from customers that our message was too strong. Our old restoration message said, Oncor shows power has been restored at 123 Main. If power is still out, please check breakers and meter base for damage and reply Y to re-report. Well, the first thing customers started saying during those storm events, they were going to social media and they were saying, Oncor says my power's on, it's still not on, they don't know what they're doing. And, you know, we had made repairs to that feeder, and we had a lot of customers back on, but we may not have had, as you know, with nested, you will not have everybody back on the first round of restoration. It takes time to make it through that whole line of area where there may be issues. So we did modify our message to say Oncor has made repairs to facilities in your area. If power is still out at your address, check breakers and meter base for damage and reply Y to report the outage. So that made it a little better. Our next event after the one that really brought this to our attention, with that softer message, we had a lot less issue with the customer being mad, and social media was a lot more understanding of the type of messaging that we were sending, and customers just were not complaining about getting this message. They felt like they were actually maybe a part of helping us know where we were still without power. Hope you're all aware of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, because as of October of 2013, it restricts any person, except in emergencies or without prior express consent, to make a call or text to customers. We use an automatic telephone dialing system and throwing those pre-recorded voice messages at those customers on cellular devices. So I think it was eye-opening for us, and that's why we have made some of our planned outage communications with live agents. You really have to know what numbers you have. Are they residential? Are they commercial? Are they text-enabled? And do I have authorization from that customer? And some of the things that you have to be careful of is that authorization. prior express consent must be in writing or electronic writing now. Before, it could be oral, and you were exempt if you had a business relationship with those customers, meaning maybe they owe us money. Not us personally, but in your case, that may be something that you're thinking, well, I have express consent. They're taking service from us, and they haven't paid their bill. I can reach out to them any way I want to. And those exceptions have been eliminated with this rule, so you really have to be careful that you do have express consent, and it's not about just presenting the call to an agent through an automatic dialer. You know, you have to be careful because it's those pre-recorded voice or text that you have to be careful of, and make sure that you're not abusing the rules as they're laid out. You have to maintain evidence for 4 years, and there are just a lot of things in that rule you have to be aware of and be careful. You would think emergency, except in emergencies. Well, a power outage is pretty much an emergency, but that is not, we don't have a ruling on that yet, so I would beware. If you probably heard a few weeks ago, there was I believe it was Time Warner Cable, got a really big fine because they continued to hit a customer who owed them money, and that she told them to quit calling with that automated, opted out with that automated system, and they ignored it. I think she ended up having over 150 calls from them, and they were fined for that. And those fines can be very expensive. They can be $500 a call and up to $1,500 a call if you found to be willfully violating the rules. So that's one reason it's important to really check yourselves, look at your enrollments. Are they where you can prove it up? And if your system that you're using to call your customers has that automatic dialing capability, then you are under this rule, and you have to approach things very carefully of how you use pre-recorded voice, and particularly to residential landlines. Even there are, for marketing calls, it's just prohibited for the pre-recorded calls. So a lot of things there to look at, and those robocalls could be expensive, even though you may have saved a lot of money by not having an agent involved. So what's next for us? Let's talk about that for a moment. What's next for Oncor in the rest of this year is that we are working with a vendor to take all of our phone numbers, run them through a cell versus landline so we can handle those calls appropriately. Right now we are doing 100% of our outbound calls, except for the energy efficiency program, because we have their express consent in writing and as a part of a contract, that we're doing these others through live agent outbound calls for planned outages. For text, we are okay. We have double opt-in, and we have records that the customer is the one that electronically opted in for that program. So just know that that's something you have to be careful of, and this is one way that we're going to be able to hopefully then be able to leave some messages, utilize the auto dialer where appropriate, and move away from the areas where it's not. We're going to continue to work with EEI. There's an EEI team that is focused on getting some FCC approval. A number of utilities are involved with this effort, and we just got a ruling back yesterday on some of those. So the FCC issued a omnibus order addressing 19 petitions under their TCPA rule, but it did not specifically address the EEI AGA petition. So we're still waiting for our petition to get its full time in court, if you want to call it that, and provide us, hopefully, under emergency or some of these other exceptions that they're asking for, the ability to use the auto dialer and leave messaging that's important for customers about their service. There are some things you should be aware that they did come out in this omnibus order, and that customers, the auto dialer is any tool that the basic function of it is to dial numbers without human intervention and dial thousands of numbers in a short period of time. It states, though, that how human intervention is implemented, is really where the decision will be made and how human intervention is working with that tool that you may have. It does say that they are going to monitor, in some cases, the use of this and where customer complaints are coming in, and they'll provide additional clarification as time goes on with this part of the rule. Within regards to revocation consent, it's okay to get that through any means. So the customer can orally request you to stop calling or stop reaching out through that channel, or they could do it in writing. So it really opens up for them to be able to stop it a lot easier than it is for us to enable it. But it's good to know. Reassign numbers, this is a really good clarification point for us as a utility. So if that phone number used to be someone and they were signed up in your footprint for service notifications, and you reach out to them, and now it's no longer their number, it's been reassigned to another customer, which we know happens a lot, then you're okay that first call. But once you know on that first call that's not the customer or they don't want to receive those type of messages, you have to stop it immediately. That's that one call window, one additional call window that you have that would not be fine, but you do have to prove up the case. The other things that we're working on is we've implemented recently outbound troubleshooting calls when a single meter outage pings on. So what that is that when we implemented our AMS system, it also communicates now with our outage system. And if two or more customers are out, then that will generate an outage ticket to our system. But what we're seeing is that a single meter outage is being reported by the customer, and when the doc gets it, they're pinging those versus rolling a truck. If they ping that meter and show that there is usage and good voltage at that location, they will close the ticket and never potentially contact the customer. So our contact center gets a list of these every 30 minutes through 24/7, and we reach back out to those customers to verify their power is back on. And we're finding all kinds of interesting things with that program where customers, because what we're seeing is customers are calling back in after they've been pinged closed, thinking power's on, and but yet the customer is calling back and re-reporting their outage and getting really frustrated with us. What we found is they may be trying to report their guard light out or the barn, but they were reporting it on their home premise, which showed power. So that's where customers are taking action that they believe is going to get their problem solved, but it is not necessarily working out for them in that manner. So we've really closed the loop by using this outbound troubleshooting call capability, and with the live agent, they'll be able to go through and troubleshoot, validate that the meter is on, and have them check their breakers, or in the cases where we found is they're really trying to do something else, which is just verify before they move in that their power's on, or that they are trying to report an outage on their guard light, then we can help them through those processes. We've identified and implemented service order interaction improvements. We have a group of all levels of management at Oncor involved on this team. It's called Service Order Improvement Team, and they are using Lean Six Sigma and customer journey mapping on some key processes where we have high call volume and low customer satisfaction. So we're excited about that and really finding a lot of improvements, some quick hits, some of them where processes, of course, need to be changed, and just improvements with updating the customer throughout the process versus them always having to call us to find out what's happening or when the order's going to be worked. From a system standpoint, we are upgrading and enhancing our software solutions, which is really important that once you put one of these technologies in place, you better be planning for an upgrade or enhancement at least every other year. Be thinking about listening to customers, what they're saying about that product and how it's working and what are those next steps. We have to keep evolving. We are in the wake, if you want to call it that, of banks and of Amazons and all of the retail business. So customers' expectations of us are continuing to grow and change, and we have to be there meeting their needs as quickly as these others are, or they're on the heels of it, or we're going to lose a lot of faith in the market and in customer satisfaction because we just have to stay up with the technology. And if we're not, they will not be accepting of that. We are implementing a data store with that cell versus landline so we can keep that up to date and keep managing that as we run through our programs of planned outages and et cetera. We know how we can make those calls and make sure that we're keeping the information up to date. We're implementing a preference management tool later this year and are very excited to be able to do that and allow customers to potentially sign up, but especially the sign-ups that they may do through agents to get that express consent, have the records that we need to get their preferences set, and then communicate with them through those channels in a more proactive method, which is where we're all, I hope, working to. We're going to utilize more advanced reporting tools with all of our software vendors and being able to even take Tableau and pull data from multiple sources and really produce some good information for these customer journey maps for improvements and price those improvements out. We're implementing automated solutions for proactive messaging. Like I say, I hope we're all moving in that direction. I know some are real leaders in that. We're learning from that and from those utilities and want to be able to, when that meter tells us the power's out, then we're letting customers that we believe are associated with that outage know that there is an outage in their area. Here's when we expect your power to be back on, and we'll keep you updated. And to do all that, we have to have preference. You have to go through the channels that they're willing to get messaging from. We've got to sell that in every call or in every interaction so that we do get the sign-ups. While it's great to have 180,000 signed up for text, out of 3.3 million customers, that is a drop in the bucket. And so we do need to stay with those customers, keep working to gain more ground in this area for increasing the programs and making sure customers are getting the service they want for those that are interacting with us. So I want to thank y'all. I hope this has been very informative for you, and I would like to open it up for questions. Lisa?
It sounds great. Thank you, Pam. It was a great presentation. I enjoyed it very much. And I do have several questions. We've had a couple come in already, but I do want to remind the attendees to upload their questions to all panelists just so that I can make sure that I collect the question as well. So let's start with this first one. It says, you mentioned 5 service orders you provide status updates to customers with your text program. Why just 5, and what were they?
That's a good question. The reason we chose the 5 is those are some of the higher call volumes, or they're ones where customers run into issues. So I know move out is one of the transactions. So when a move out is scheduled for an account, you think, oh, well, why tell them? They know, they called. Well, they do, but what if it got entered on the wrong account? And you're actually moving out a customer that is still going to be there. And that's what we have in the Texas market particularly, is a lot of EDI transactions flow to tell us what the customer wants. And this is a way to verify and not inadvertently move someone out, turn their power off when it wasn't intended for them. It may have been for their neighbor or for, again, numbers get transposed. It was the wrong account number. So that's one reason we did the move out. Temporary disconnect, temporary reconnect are key orders because you're trying to schedule time for the electrician to do their work or the builder needs some notifications. So setting up those notifications where they can get updates when that order's been scheduled for and when it completes, helps them do their work. And then the confidence that they get by when they do see the temporary reconnect's also been scheduled, and when it's completed, they feel much better and they can relax about calling several times a day to find that information. The other two are meter reread and meter test. And so if Oncor is going out to perform a meter test, then we still send the customer, if they've signed up for the text program, an update that a meter test has been scheduled. It could cause a call from that customer, but typically we don't see that. What it typically does is just reassure them that we are checking their meter and that we're finding and troubleshooting things, and we will leave them a door tag anyway that day once we're there. So it's good to let them know by the text program, if they're signed up, that this is going to happen, that we're going to be there that day, and when the work has been completed.
That is very reassuring to the closeout of that process.
Yeah.
How do you blend customer journey mapping with, I think you mentioned Lean Six Sigma?
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun to try to figure that one out. Customer journey mapping, is really from the customer's perspective, where Lean Six Sigma is very focused on the process and what you can do to improve your operations or cut costs out of your operations. Well, actually the two go well together. And so what we do is we make sure that we map the process and get a good process map together, and then overlay that customer journey. What is the customer experiencing? Where are they getting updates? And we came up with customer personas. So when we do one, we try to make sure we have 2 or 3 personas, a residential customer, a small, medium business customer, because the impacts are so different for them. You really have to plan, how am I going to handle that commercial account versus that residential? Or in some cases, the residential really needs more attention than the commercial, and that helps you with these processes that are very impacting to what they're trying to do.
Okay. You have another question in. It says, it asks, how do you keep your customer email addresses and phone numbers accurate and up to date?
That's always a challenge that we're all running into. Our agents are updating that information each phone call that they handle every day, whether it be an outage or a service request. And then the other method is that retailers, of course, are sending us that information through electronic means. As they have updates from their customers, then they provide them to us as well. We have a really high, let me say the reverse. We have a really low fallout rate, runs around 8 to 10% of non-matches in our IVR because of these methods. The other thing we do is at least twice a year, and now we're kind of moving to quarterly, if we don't have a phone number on an account, we are reaching out to the retailers, asking them, saying, here's the list of phone number of accounts we have with you that we have no phone number or email. Please update this spreadsheet and we'll load it, or send us the EDI transactions. So keeping those reminders out there for them helps turn that around and bring the results in as well.
Okay. Another question came in is, how are you justifying the outbound calls with live agent to offset the inbound call from the customer?
Well, it was really kind of a difficult thing at first. It's like, well, is it really cost efficient to take a live agents off the phone and send more calls to the IVR? But it actually turned out to be very cost effective. So making that outbound call saves several inbound calls. The customer will call to try to report, and they get the IVR, so they may hang up and call back again, or to get a live agent. They keep playing the system. But the other thing it does is an outbound call is a lot of times going to be going straight to a voicemail. So you can leave a voicemail letting the customer know what's going on, and it's a much shorter call than when you're talking to them on the inbound side trying to figure out what's going on. So it really has helped, and the handle time has been very low with those outbound calls, which is not necessarily what we were expecting to see.
Okay, very good. So I have another question that's come in. It asks, Is your text program, is it Oncor homegrown, or do you partner with a vendor on this product?
We do partner with a vendor. Oncor made a decision a few years ago to use off-the-shelf technology everywhere it's available. We like to take advantage of those vendors bringing in the best of the best. And we did go with iFactor as our text and online outage map and online reporting. They also are handling our preference management as we're moving forward with that effort.
Okay. No, I think another question kind of related to the program there. Do your customers have the ability to text or email a picture such as a tree down, downed wires, et cetera, to Oncor so that you know what you're getting into before your text arrives?
No, we don't yet have that capability. I know there are other utilities that do have it and find it very valuable. We have just kind of maxed out our IT resources and our ability to implement with these new tools, and that, you know, being implemented in 2012, and now we're upgrading this year and picking up some of that functionality. We do want to get to that. I think it is the best practice, and it will help the field so much once we find a mobile, how to get that driven down to that mobile crew, and then being able to see the situation before they arrive. So definitely a good one, and we'd love to. We're anxious to get there, but not haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, very good. And so just to backtrack, I'm looking through, I saw another question. I think it's related to the other question I asked, that you mentioned preference management, and iFactor does do that as well for you. You did say that?
Yes, that's who we're going with our preference management tool.
Okay. Okay. And I'm showing these questions are in the all panel. Pam, do you have any questions that came in directly to you?
Let me take a look.
I don't know.
No, I don't see any. I am good.
Are there any other pieces of information or anything? Oh, here we go. We have another question. It says, do you have a map with all of your contacts, customer accounts plotted as points?
What we have is our outage map is really driven at the device level. So I'm hoping I'm going to answer your question correctly, Tim, but it is at our device level. And so we don't map it or allow customers to go all the way to their home. That was a security issue for us. We were concerned about, you know, the burglars being able to see whose power exactly is out. So you can go within a quarter mile of your home, of the location of the outage, but you cannot get any lower than that on our outage map.
Well, I like that feature.
Yeah, I think a lot of customers do. You know, now others have gone as far as, you know, down to that individual premise. And if we move to a point when we have an app, then on those apps, I definitely think that we will allow customers to go down to their specific address, because they will have then, you know, come in to a secure location where the information is secure for them, not at the larger view level.
Sounds good. Well, I'm looking to see. I'm not showing any other questions in my panel, but if we do have questions that do come up later, you can contact Pam. Her email address is pam.wheat@oncor.com, and you'll see that there on the slide. And I guess if we don't have any more questions, Pam, I think we can go ahead and conclude today's session. I would just like to mention also that CS Week is now accepting submissions for Conference 40. And you can go to csweek.org/web/conference for more information. And with that, we'll close the session. We thank you, Pam. We appreciate you presenting with us today, and we look forward to more presentations in this webinar series.
Thank you all.
Thank you.